So the existing home sales report just got released, and I don't think anyone's surprised to see that home sales seasonality just got adjusted to 4.28 million home sales for the year of 2023. And so that's not a surprise. That's not a shock to anyone. My thought, or my when I saw this report come out, I said to myself, okay, well, what's next? What does this mean for real estate agents? What can we do about this? Because I mean, it's a bloodbath, right? I mean, mortgage interest rates just this past week hit almost 7% again, and we're fighting that. And so hopefully we will start to see some relief to get transactions happening. But my question in my head, and if I'm you, I'm saying, well, damn, like what can I do in my business to get things moving forward? I'm going to share some ideas with you guys today. And so here's what I thought about. I said to myself, okay, if I look back to the last time home sales were what's being projected in 2023, we have to go all the way back to 2023. So 4.26 million home sales. That was the last time we had the number of transactions that's being projected right now. Fine, we can't necessarily control that, right? We know buyers and sellers aren't there. It's kind of like this gridlock. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to get off the sideline. Sellers are staying put. Buyers are waiting for rates to come down. We all know. Now, the thing that I'm curious about is if the overall opportunity that real estate agents have to make a living went from, well, let's look at this again. We're coming off of some good years. 2021 was 6.1, 6.2, and then last year was about 6 million home sales again. If we're coming off of a year like that and home sales are going to go way down, well, what does this mean? Let's give this some context. I said, okay, well, how many agents are there right now? And we know there's about 1.6 million real estate agents in the country. If we go back to when home sales were about what they are right now, we go back to 2012 and we say, well, there was only 1 million agents back then. So what my mind goes to is this little thing that I made for you guys. My mind says, okay, in 2012, there was 1 million agents, and now we've got 1.6 million agents. That's the report I just showed you on Realtor, on the National Association of Realtors website. Well, here's something interesting. In 2023, with those 1.6 million agents, the pie or the full opportunity was 6.2 million home sales. That was the overall opportunity that we had. You could get as many of those as you'd like. Nobody is limiting you on the number of those transactions that you can go out and you can earn. On average, it was about 3.87 sales per agent. Fine. Now, based on the new existing home sales report, here's the issue. The issue is we still have the same number of agents, but now look at our pie. Our pie got cut by 33%. If home sales this year don't get moving, and we end up with about 4.2 million home sales, that cuts that down 33%, like I just mentioned, and the average is about 2.625% or 2.625 transactions per agent, making things extremely difficult for us for a lot of agents, I should say, to make a living. The top agents are going to be fine. In fact, a lot of the top agents that I'm seeing right now that I work with, that I coach, we're growing our business. But for the average agent, things are tough. Things are tight. And I have some ideas I want to share with you that might make this situation better. So here's the deal. Because transactions are down, like I said, home sales are down, the overall opportunity that we have in real estate is down 33%. A third got wiped out. There are some things that we can do that most agents don't think about. And that is going where the transactions are now and where the transactions will always occur regardless of the market. I talk about this a lot with the agents that I coach. I talk about creating a business that's recession proof, that no matter what happens to interest rates, no matter what happens to the number of transactions, if you do what I'm about to talk about, it won't matter. Your business will always continue to thrive. It will always continue to grow. What is it that I'm referring to? I'm talking about niching down, is to go out into the marketplace and find a specific niche where we know transactions are happening with little to no competition from other agents. This is why it doesn't matter what's happening in the market, nor how many competitors you have, whether we have 1.6 realtors or 1.6 million realtors, or if we have a million realtors or 10 million realtors. It doesn't matter, because when you go and niche down, which is a concept, I think, in our industry that is very, very rare, because most agents, if we're being honest, if we say, okay, what is your client avatar? They respond with anyone that has a pulse. Anyone who is looking to buy or sell a house, I will help them do just that. Okay, well, that's not a client avatar. If that's your business model, right? There's all kinds of cute sayings out there. If you end up trying to be everything to everybody, you end up being nothing to nobody, right? So you can't, in this market, if you're waiting around trying to do business with the same audience that you've always been working with, which is anybody with a pulse, you're probably struggling. It's probably putting you on the sideline right now. So let's talk about some opportunities that we have. Here are some ideas or some target ideal client avatars that are transacting business right now, no matter what the market is. Number one, divorce. Doesn't matter what the market is. In fact, probably more people are getting divorced now than when the market is good, perhaps. And so this has been a niche that has served me for a long time. Divorces are not stopping. In fact, divorce rates are continuing to go up. And here's what we know is that when a couple divorces, on average, there are 2 additional transactions. So we're selling the marital home. That's the listing. Then the divorcing couple each is buying their own new home from the proceeds of the marital home. That's 3 transactions based on this niche. Now, my question for you is this, and I'm not trying to get cute. I'm being dead serious when I ask you this. How many agents do you know in your brokerage, on your team, in your market that specialize in divorce real estate? That is all they do. They're not the general practitioner like the family doctor. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the specialist. We're talking about the brain surgeon for real estate agents. You probably don't know any because, again, most real estate agents are general practitioners. Anybody who wants to buy or sell a house, that is who they want to work with. Well, in this market, a lot of agents are getting crushed because they don't have a niche that puts their business in a position where it is absolutely recession proof. And so I'm not even suggesting for a second, let me make myself extremely clear. It isn't that I'm suggesting that you say no to people that want to buy or sell a house in the area that you service. Continue to do that. There's just a lot less of them now. I think we both agree on that. What I am suggesting, however, is that you do really focus on niching down in your business, creating a specific target audience. As in addition, you add that to the business plan immediately so that you don't have to, your business doesn't have to have these ups and downs, these roller coasters causing the volatility in your business that you might be experiencing right now. What's another niche? Well, let's talk about probate. I don't know about you, but it doesn't matter what mortgage interest rates are going to do. People are going to die. And it's unfortunate, but a lot of people that own homes that don't have their estate plan in place will pass away, and the real estate in which they own will be forced through the probate process, in which, because that's never going to stop, that real estate needs to be listed and sold most of the time. Most of the time. So that would be another niche or another example of a niche that you could specialize in, where you attract probate attorneys because most agents have no idea how to handle a probate listing. In fact, most screw it up, driving these attorneys nuts. And so just imagine a world you actually are a probate specialist and you have the opportunity to go out there and build relationships with probate attorneys who are growing their business, right? They're not just sitting on the sideline. They're dealing with probate cases all the time, of which all of them have to have these properties listed. Let me give you another example. This is just to kind of get your mind thinking about some of these niches that you might find some success in, regardless of what happens in the market. What about all of the people that are transitioning into assisted living? Think about, if you're like me, you probably live, wherever you're watching this video or listening to this episode, you probably have some type of assisted living facility being built on, it seems like, every corner. They're going up faster than anything else. It's amazing how these beautiful, amazing facilities are being built on every street corner across the country. That should tell you something as an entrepreneur. That might tell you, okay, follow the money. If these people are building these Taj Mahals, they probably know what they're doing. And what's happening? The largest transfer of wealth is happening right now. People are transferring into these assisted livings facilities at a larger number than we've ever seen in the history of this country. How do you think they're getting the money for these places? Yes, some of them are getting them from the estate, but a lot of them are selling the primary residence that they most likely have paid off. Okay, we're talking about elders here, 80, 85 years old, that can no longer live on their own. And so they have these properties, they're all paid off. There's a large portion of their wealth tied in the equity of these properties. The property is sold, and that is how the family can afford to pay for them to live in these facilities. So now you can imagine a world, maybe that becomes your niche, because when I ask an agent, hey, have you ever heard of geographic farming? They all say, oh, yeah. We've heard of that for a long time. I say, yeah. Let me ask you a different question. What about demographic farming? Have you heard of that? What's that? That's the point, is to go out there and to market to not an area, that's a generalist. What if you marketed and you prospected a demographic? 80 years old or 80 years or older. Home is free and clear. The property, the size of the property is 20% larger than the average home in your market. Now we know we've got an elder person that's potentially looking at downsizing. What if we put a focus and our attention on marketing and communicating and prospecting to that demographic instead of geographic? Just an idea. So these are some of the things I've been thinking about when I saw that report come across. I say, yep, I know we're getting crushed. Home sales are way down. No one wants to do anything. But there are people, again, and this is the thing. This is what I think about. I say, this is what makes me feel that no matter what happens, there will be the opportunity we'll have, maybe not as great as it has been, but we'll be just fine, is this. Let's go back to the worst time, 2008. This is the worst real estate market this country has ever seen. And oh, by the way, still 4.1 million homes were sold. 8.2 million commission checks were handed out. In the worst housing market this country has ever seen, ever. And so the opportunity is there for us, but I think the reality is it's not as easy as it has been for us. And so if we can accept that and say, okay, well, what got me here probably won't get me to where I want to go. I probably have to look at changing something. And so those are just some ideas. Those are some of the things that I've been thinking about. Hopefully they help. And if you want help from a coaching standpoint and you believe that I can potentially be that person for you, I'll put a link underneath this video. Feel free to click. You can schedule some time that works best for you. You can talk to my team, learn more about our Listing Agent Academy coaching program, and then you can decide if it's something you want to participate in or not. So hopefully now that you've kind of watched this video, you got your mind thinking, what can I go out there and add to my business plan that allows me to market proof or recession proof my business rather. You can start to put some focus towards that action.